I have put the link in the chat. You click, it will take you to a canvas whereby you'll place the plus sign and then you put your thoughts. Don't be in a hurry to publish. Just indicate the structure, the key areas, and kindly explain what is your understanding of a reflective journal, especially from the perspective of a professional background. Just click the link. It will take you to a canvas. Then you will get a plus sign if you're using a smartphone. And then add your thoughts. There is a question you are going to find there. I'm going to find a question asking you to outline the structure of a reflective journal from what you have heard, and most important, the key areas or the key component of a reflective journal. And in case you have an issue, you can just raise as we move. Click the link, take you to a Padlet. You are going to get a canvas, and don't be in a hurry to respond. Just write what you have had, and then you publish. I'm going to give you 5 minutes from now. The link is there. So you're going to get something like what I have. I can see people have joined. You're going to get a canvas similar to what I have shared with you. And kindly don't. I know if one person posts, the rest will see what you'll be able to see what your colleagues are typing. Please, as we have been told, let the reflect the whatever you are writing be personal, what you have understood. Click the plus sign, write whatever you are writing, then publish. But take your time, make sure that your response capture the key areas of a reflective journal. So I'm expecting around how many? I'm expecting 8 responses. You are 8. I'm expecting 8 responses. Remember, this is part of what we said, synchronous learning. And as I said, kindly take your time. With Python, you can, you are saying it is light point in bullet format, do it regularly. What are the key areas? That is what you are supposed to do, but what is the structure? Because it was well explained. What will be, the first bullet will entail what? The second one, the third one, the fourth one, like that. Because we are looking at the structure of a reflective journal. The title is there. The title of what you are reflecting. For example, you reflect about today's session, so the title will be assessment. Also, you will go back and reflect on the first session you are taken by Madam Rebecca. So the title will be induction. So what are the key structures? So somebody who is saying, let me repost the link again. We have listened to a video, and now we are answering a question: key structures of a reflective journal. The person who have joined it, I have posted there the link again. There's only one person who have posted. I'm waiting for the other 8 because now we are 9. You have 1.5 minutes to go. So 1.5 minutes to go. If you are ready, you can post your response. For Murajab, you have posted running experiences, diffraction on learning, and action plan. So 6 more to go. From the video that you have, remember the course is trainers or facilitators. And this is the work that you will be doing. And one of the key skills that you need to impact your one of the key skill that you impact to whoever you'll be you'll be facilitating to is reflective journal. And Charity, kindly mute your mic. Charity Koske, kindly mute your mic. So time is up. You can post whatever you have typed, because I can see people are still typing. And only 2 have posted. I'm waiting for the other 6 or 7. There's somebody who have joined already, not listen to the video. Thank you, Python, for elaborating. You have gone further and edited a correction of feeling and thoughts in paragraph bullet form and how it's going to help change how I live or work. Thank you. I have 4. I'm still waiting for 4 more. The beginning we were 8. One Murajab, learning experiences, diffraction on learning, and action plan. Defiant. Some people who did not, they just went with the name that were given by the address, course objective, interactive. Interactive will be synchronous and asynchronous. The question was asking the structure of a reflective journal from the video, what you had. There's somebody whose mic is on. I'm looking for the person. And Maureen and introduction reflection.
Mr. Ledger.
Yes.
I can't see the person whose mic is on.
There is background, but the mic is not visible.
I think it's Maxwell. Yeah, Maxwell.
Kindly, if your mic is on, mute. Those are some of the online etiquette. If you join a Zoom meeting, the first thing is to mute your mic. because you'll interrupt the class. So I have managed to get only 4. I was expecting 8. I don't know what happened to the other. And Maureen Gendo is saying introduction, question you had about the lesson, what new thing you learned and action you intend. Thank you, Maureen, for that reflection. To are listening carefully. One thing that came out clearly about the structure of a reflective journal. And I see that here, this is something that you will be doing every week or after we have covered a session. Now that you are going to cover aloud 8 sessions, we will require you to have reflected 8 times. Because you reflect on the induction, the one that you did with Madam Rebecca, you're going to reflect on assessment. And anytime you have a session, you will be required to write a reflection. And that is why we're asking ourselves, how are you supposed to write it? Most of people confuse reflection with a recap. Reflection is not a recap of what transpired in class. But when we talk about reflection, we are talking of what you are told, how you organize your thought on what happened, whereby you explain what happened, you explain what you are feeling, you explain what you learned, and you tell us what you are going to do with what you learned. That was simply what the reflective journal is all about. And the reason why we are calling it an e-journal, because you are going to reflect on a digital platform. That is Kemi Learning Management System, own personal growth. But for the sake of assessment, you are going to reflect on our LMS. But if you want to use other platform for personal growth, you can use them because there's a skill that you need to acquire and practice in the course of your practice. And this one will help us, as we said, to grow personally and professionally. Because anytime we come to class, like now, I told you to reflect using a Padlet, and you are 9 of you. Only 4 of you were able to give me a response. The rest, the other 4, the other 5 did not. You need to start reflecting now. Those who are able to access the Padlet and answer what was going on in your mind. And even at the end of the day, because we are told reflection can either be positive or negative. Maybe those who are not able to respond, they were not able to manipulate the app. That is something you need to reflect about and what you are going to do so that next time you will be able to respond. But I expect the response will continue because you will continue to have the link as long as it is there in my account. But as we are saying, reflective journal is a very important tool. One, it is, as we realized from the video, it helps you to analyze your personal experience or an insight during this training program. And in most of the cases, those who have visited the hospitals, when you go to a doctor and you talk to a doctor, they usually sometimes have a notebook that they write. One of the doctors told me that they do not write some of the things they write, they help them to reflect later on what they have done in the course of the day. And if they experience any gaps or if they experience anything in the course of the day, they reflect on it and they will be able to mitigate. If it's something that did not went well, they will be able to prevent it of occurring in the future. So when we are saying it is a tool, it is something that you are supposed to be doing every now and then. Like now, there's something you are supposed to be noting down about what we are going through. Because I'm going to realize this reflective journal is connected to the final synthesis. How well you are going to reflect, it will also be reflected by the quality of your final synthesis. Because the summary that you are taking down in form of a reflective journal, they're supposed to go into your final synthesis, as we are going to find out when we reach to that section. And here we are talking of emphasizing on your self-reflection. We said reflective journal is personal. You cannot copy from somebody else. It should be personal. That is something we need to note, because you are just noting down you are feeling, your thought, and what transpired during the class. Then the other thing, it is for the sake of this course, it will be writing reflective journal should begin from day one. The moment you are introduced to this course, that is the day you are supposed to start, you are supposed to have started reflecting. So in our LMS, we're expecting you to put a reflection on induction. Before the end of this week, we expect you to put your reflection on assessment. That is how we are saying it starts with day one. But the question is, when we are talking of a reflective journal, we are saying that you start with a brief description of the event. That is what came out clearly. First describe of the event. Now you will explain what transpired during this session. You explain, but I'm insisting, don't recap. Then reflect on your thought of feeling. We need to, what were you feeling? Even when you were introduced to this course by Madam Rebecca, what was in your mind? What were your expectations? And what did you learn? Then analyze what you learned from the experience. What did you learn from the article, from the induction? And what are you going to learn today? Then you conclude with any action or changes you plan to make based on your reflection. And that is why when it comes to structure, one, you should have a title and the date. Like now, for today reflection, the title will be assessment. The date will be, it can be, if you are going to write it today, it will be 16th of January 2025. Then the first thing you need to write is, you need to have a reflection prompt. Use guiding question to organize your thought. That is what you are supposed to do. And these are the questions that will be guiding you. What happened? What happened means, this is what you're supposed, we are saying, start with brief description of the event or the experience. So you'll tell us about the assessment, but don't recap. Don't tell us that the session started with a prayer from Madam Ngedo, then the facilitator started the session at 5:45. That is not a reflection, that is a recap. But we are not expecting you to give us a recap, but describe what happened. Then, how did you feel? Now you tell us your thoughts. And here we are talking of both positive and negative. Reflection does not have to be positive. It can be something negative that you experience, or something difficult, or something that you did not like. That is what we mean. How did I feel? Then, what did you learn? Even if it was positive or negative, there must be something that you learned. Analyze what you learned at the experience and how it impacted on you. After you have done that, then tell us how are you going to apply to, how do you plan for future? Meaning, what action or what changes are you planning to make in your reflection? That is what if you experience a problem with internet connection that made you not to respond to my question, what are your plan in future to ensure that you are able to do it? Because it may be part of your reflection because we are not happy because we are not able to respond. So that is the structure. Even when you are writing in our LMS, when you are marking your work, you will be basing our assessment on those areas. What happened? You describe the session. What did I feel? What were you feeling about the whole thing or session or the incident? Then you need to tell us, what did you learn? Maybe what did you learn about reflection and what did you learn about final synthesis? And then how are you going to apply it even in your workplace? We need to see that. Now, what are some of the benefits of reflecting as a trainer or facilitator? One, it will help you to think critically, and it will help you to connect what we are going to learn today and what you are doing in your workplace. That is what we are talking about, connecting theory with practice. Then you'll be able to know yourself. The more you reflect, the more you learn about yourself, your strength, your weakness, and your biases. And also it will help you. It is a kind of continuous self-improvement. Even when you go to class to facilitate, and you realize there is an incident that happened, maybe out of lack of proper preparation, it will help you to prepare for the next session. If you are able to note down that at a certain stage in my presentation, I did not do this properly because I was not well prepared. For continuous improvement, you will be able to prepare for the next session. And it helps to solidify knowledge and improve memory. You will be able to retain what you learn because you have put down, you have described what happened. It will not be difficult. If you just read at your reflection, you will be able to remember what went on in class. And the reflection, another important aspect, it gives you, it documents your learning journey. Like now, it will document all what you are going to learn in the course of the 8 weeks. But can you continue beyond the 8 weeks so that anytime you are doing something, you are able to reflect? Let me give you a simple example. This is just a generic of what you expect. First, there is a title. I thought of, if now that you are dealing with the trainers of facilitator, you will be designing training. And this is what I came up with. If this is just a generic. Today's session on designing training highlighted the use of methods like experience learning, case studies, and
Mr. Elijah,
create engaging and impactful learning experience. Seeing what happened. We are describing now the session. Head, hands-on activity boosted by confidence. Mr. Quira,
I think your network had an issue. I can hear you now.
you can hear me now.
Yes.
Sorry, I was giving an example whereby that is a sample, a generic reflective journal. It starts with the describing the session you are feeling, and then what you are going to do with what you experience. And even you can talk of challenges like time costing and scissors will be addressed to enhance facilitation. Now, this is just a simple reflection. But what is the main point at the end of the day? Effective training, design, transform capacity building, and ensure impactful learning. So that is what you took home. And I'm saying designing training was a session, but how is what is my reflection? So we expect something better than what I have given you, because I believe you are going to come up with quality reflection. So that is all what I was planning concerning the reflection. And I would like to ask, to open the floor. If there is somebody with a question, a comment, or a clarification from what we have learned about reflective learning journal. What is your opinion? And from what you heard from the video, it is something doable? Is it something that you do in your workplace? Or is it something that you are planning to implement as a trainer or facilitator? You can unmute, you can raise up your hand and unmute you. Anybody who want to comment about what you have covered so far before we proceed to final synthesis? But before we proceed to final synthesis, let me give you a simple activity that we are going to do. Now I'm going to take you to the same Padlet, and I want you to reflect about the first session that you covered with Madam Rebecca. So I'm going to paste the link on the chat forum, because I believe everybody is in now. I have put the link. From what we have learned, write a brief reflection on what you learned with Madam Rebecca. That is on induction on trainers of facilitator. Click the link and take 5 minutes, but make sure that you highlight the 3 areas. You describe what you learned, you tell us about your thoughts, you start by describing the session. Then tell us what you are feeling, your thoughts, what you learned, and what you are going to do. So kindly go to the canvas, and this time I expect 11 responses. We have 11 of us. Write a reflective journal on the session on the induction of trainers or facilitators. Take 5 minutes and base your argument on the structure that you have talked about. Let me go back to the structure so that it will guide you. So this is the structure that will guide you when you are writing your reflective journal. What happened during the induction session? What you are feeling when you are coming to this class for the first time? What were you feeling, or what your expectation? Then what did you learn? Then from what you went through, how will you apply this, depending on the nature of experience that you went through? 5 minutes. Take your time, but make sure that you post, because through participation in synchronous learning, we said it is part of the assessment criteria. Have 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes. So you have 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes to go. So you have half a second. Thank you, Rajab, for being the first person to post. I'm waiting for the remaining 10. And time is up. So time is up. So kindly post your work. Well, it doesn't matter the point at which you are, just post your work. So thank you very much. I'm expecting 7 more to go. 7 more to go. So 5 more. 5 more to go. I expect everybody to write a reflection of what you learned during the first session, unless you are new, because there's something you are deflated well. You only need to upload it in our elements. You have not done so. You can see what, and I believe after posting, you are let's pause. Kindly read the others because I know you can see them, so that you'll tell me whether they met the criteria that we learned. I said avoid recapping. I can see an aspect of recap in some of your responses. Still, I can see we said you should not recite what happened. We said tell us, you describe the session, you are feeling, what you learn, and how you are going to apply it going forward. And I thank Charity for that reflective. I was introduced training of trainer, and they went through the course objective. I felt welcomed by the school management and ready to tackle the course. I learned about techniques of training, among other things. I'll apply the use of this technique in my future training. Thank you, Charity. Maureen Ngendo, this was an interactive class that took us through an overview of TOF course. Duration assessment, that description. During the session, I was excited to be part of course that I am certain will enhance my skill. And thank you. That now there you explain, describing your feeling and thought. I learned that the term facilitator is more positive than trainer in the knowledge enhanced. I intend to be present in all the class. Thank you, Maureen. Those are the quality of reflection we expect going forward. Don't recap on what happened, but tell us what you learned, you are feeling, how it impacted on you, and going forward, what you are going to do. Vincent, plan your time well, conducive environment. I'll be greatly happy to get this knowing. Caroline, the class was organized online and began on time. I had a mixed emotion during this session because I joined it. I had a current class at the same time. I learned, however, that the free journal is a way of using what now? You might say, I understand that. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. Even you are telling us you had two classes learning concurrently, but you are able to join and there's something you learn. Those are the kind of reflection we are talking about. It doesn't have to be deep, and it can bring idea of something that was difficult for you and something positive. But when you bring idea of what, if you just tell us what you are taking through, that is a recap. And I can see some aspect of recap here. So next time when you are reflecting, kindly avoid recap. Just tell us in a few words what happened, what were your thoughts, what you learned, and what you are planning to do. So thank you very much for the 7 of you. So the allowed 4 of you did not like the response. But I said, if you have anything you'd like to clarify, you raise up your hand. So in summary, we can say that a reflective journal, you should write it regularly. It can be daily, weekly, and be honest and open in your reflection. Don't hide anything. Structure, description of the event, reflect on thoughts, feeling, and reaction, analyze the session learned, and also conclude with actions or changes planned. And we said the guiding question will be what happened. That is, we are describing the session and what you are feeling, what went well, and what could have gone better, or what did I learn from the experience, or how will I apply the learning in the future. In simple, that is what we are talking about. The reflective journal. Unless there is anybody with a question, I want us to move on to the next session and find out what we are going to learn. The next aspect of what you are supposed to learn today is on the final synthesis. So this is our next, this one, you be careful because this one will carry a lot of weight, the final synthesis, because this is a paper that you write. We call it final synthesis or consolidation paper. But I don't want to talk much about it. I want you to listen to this video and then listen to this video carefully. And also, Mr. Aquila, confirm whether you are able to hear the sound.
It's okay.
It is okay.
Yes.
Synthesizing is often loosely defined as thinking beyond a text or having an aha. And although these are accurate explanations, many teachers question, so how does a synthesis differ from a summary or an inference? There are several ways that readers infer or think about a text. They can think about the main ideas. They can think in pictures like visualization. They can think about connections or questions or syntheses. All of these are types of inferences. Think of an inference as an umbrella, and each of the comprehension strategies is a spoke under the umbrella. Synthesis is one of the spokes. It's one of the types of inference. Now, before readers could ever synthesize, they have to be able to summarize. This isn't an either or. You aren't either summarizing or you're synthesizing. No, summarization leads to synthesis. According to the College and Career Ready standards, a synthesis is when you integrate multiple details from multiple texts to generate a new, bigger thought. Now, let me say that again. more slowly and really point out the different components to that definition, because along the way, we're going to define what a summary is and what an inference is. Just putting together multiple details from a text isn't a synthesis. It's more likely a summary. When a reader collects details from a text and then restates those details, he is restating or retelling. If the reader repeats the ideas of the author, he's not thinking beyond the text, he's simply summarizing the text. So if a summary is just retelling details from the original text, then an inference adds the new and bigger thought. That new or bigger thought, that inference, is the idea of going beyond the text, saying something that the author in the original text never said. But this is where some teachers get confused between inference in general and a true synthesis. Think of it this way. All syntheses are an inference, but all inferences are not a synthesis. After reading a text and collecting many details, a reader can put those details together, think about them, and generate a brand new thought. An aha, that is an inference. But in that example, that inference or aha was not a synthesis. No, you have to look closely at how the standards define a synthesis. Like an inference, a synthesis will integrate multiple details to generate a new or bigger thought. But the difference happens in where these details come from. A true synthesis pulls the details from multiple texts. This is what makes synthesizing so much more difficult. Now, students have to read multiple texts. They have to juggle the details and information from all those texts, combine, integrate them to generate a new, bigger thought, something that none of the authors previously said.
So that is an introduction of our assignment of what will constitute to assessment. And now I wanted us to do this activity on the chat, but this one I'm going to open the floor. You have listened to a video on how to write a final synthesis. There are 3 keywords that came out. One, there is inference. There is a summary. There is restating. And then the keyword is synthesis. I want, and another key point that came up from this video is the idea of generating new, bigger ideas from multiple text. And as you answer this question, the multiple text we are talking about is 8 units that you are going to go through. And these are the 8 units. These are the 8 units that you'll be taken through during this course. But I want to go back to this question. This one, you are not going to go to Padlet. You are not going to write on the, I want now to, I have not heard your voice. I've been talking. I would like to hear, you are not minutes, so each and every person can afford 2 minutes. So from what you have heard, and from what you are expected to do, you are supposed to write a final synthesis. Now, what is your understanding of final synthesis from the video in reference to the 8 units that we are going to study in course of this course? So, what is your understanding? And before that, I would like one person to tell us, what did you understand from inference, summarizing, restating, and synthesis? Then we go to the final synthesis from in line with the 8 unit, because this is a paper that you write at the end of the training, 8 weeks training. And as I said earlier, if you have heard from the video, all the reflection that you'll be writing will assist you in writing the final synthesis. So before we delve deeper into final synthesis, can somebody try and answer that question? What is your understanding of final synthesis in reference to the 8 unit that we are going to undertake? And have, even without seeing the title of the unit, what do you understand by final synthesis? You raise up your hand. Ngedo, unmute. Ngedo, you can go on.
Okay, thank you. My understanding on the final synthesis is there is a different topics we will be learning now, like from the 8 units, and from each unit there will be the main thought that is coming out according to the learner. So in the final synthesis, you're supposed to condense that into a new idea, such that it becomes like a new, an altogether new concept that you're taking away from the course. So you're not just simply saying we learned about concepts of training or facilitation. You're now coming up with like a new, it's like, if I can give an analogy, it's like when you're baking a cake, you had the flour, you had the eggs, the milk, the sugar, and then at the end of it all, you're going to combine them and come up with a new product altogether, which will be a cake. That is what I understood by synthesis.
Thank you, Ngedo, for I can see you are very keen, and thank you for that analogy. To have summed up the whole thing. But I would also, there's something very important you have said when you are baking a cake. Remember from the video you are told, even if you are writing a final synthesis, there is an aspect of summary. So the ingredients that go toward the cake are the summary. But the cake that you're going to get out of, we are going to get out of those ingredients is a new idea. Thank you very much, Ngedo, for that. We said we are going to talk, all of us. So the next person, if you don't raise up your hand, I'm going to call you by names now. At least there's something you have had. What is final synthesis in reference to the 8 unit? Mamo, Rajab, go on.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity.
Go on.
Okay, so personally for me, what I've understood, what is synthesis, this is just where I'll have to combine the different topics I'm going to learn, or the different information I'm going to get from this training across all the topics, so that I'm able to create something new. So it's not close to a summary, nor by any chance me trying to restate what was given, but will be about making connections, clearly finding patterns and relationships, so that I'm able to form a very new understanding or a perspective of what I've learned. And if I may give an example, a good example would be if you are doing research. In most cases, you'll synthesize. You'll be reading information from various articles, so that you are able to support your own argument and developing something like either a conclusion of what you are really trying to research about. Thank you.
So Rajab, what you are telling us that even in course of this session, you'll be required to read further.
Yes.
On top of what we are giving, because I'm expecting you to cite references in the way. You will come up with something new, but how do you support your new idea?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you need to go further and read. As you come up with a new idea, tell us what others have said about what you are trying to advocate. And that is why we will give you an option of giving us the reference. Because you're talking of 8 units. You have come up with a new idea. who else have talked about your new idea? So another thing that have come up from Rajab is you require you to read further. Another person. We are 11, 9 more to go. Just raise up your hand and tell us, we are learning from each other. We learned something from Ngendo about the cake. Now from Rajab, we have learned about research, how you mine information from various articles. Then you come up with something, you come up with a model, a framework. So who else would like us to say something on final synthesis? Now, I'm tempted now to unmute people by calling them by their name. We have heard from two ladies. You can heard from another gentleman. So, Stephen Simiu, unmute. Stephen Simiu. At the end of the day, you like the final synthesis. Or anybody who is willing to say something. Simiu, Vincent. Vincent? Now what we are, okay,
Hello?
Vincent, go on. Go on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
According to me, what I will say, the final synthesis here, we are going to go through the 8 units.
Mm-hmm.
And let me talk about we are going to talk about the theories and the concepts and other techniques inside here. But when we read the details of those theories, details in those concepts, we will understand them, we will combine them from those multiple sources, and at the end of the day, we may be having the new idea generated from them, or we may have generated the new idea in back of our minds, and now we will be writing the idea that we have come up with, supporting what others have said in their theories, concepts, and techniques that we will have learned from in these 8 units. Together, each and everyone will come out with a different idea, but that idea will be supported from what we have learned from those different sources, different texts, and different authors on what they have said concerning the same.
Thank you, Vincent. But Vincent, let me ask you a question, or anybody else can answer. If you look at the 8 units,
yes,
are they related in any way, all of them?
some are related.
No, I'm asking all of them. Are they related to the course known as trainers or facilitators? How related is reflective journal related to concept of training, related to theory of training, designing? How do they interrelate each other? Is there any interrelationship?
Yeah, there is.
So what does that go on?
Yeah, if you check on the theories of learning and the concepts of training, so you will have how do you learn? Those are the theories of learning, like cognitive and satellite. Then you have the concepts of training. One, you have learned, then you are going to train again. So you have to have the concept of training after you have learned. And that person whom you are going to train is going to learn also. The same theory you used to learn, you are trying to impart it to somebody also to use it to learn. So you may have an idea on how you can give it to somebody to learn, but you support it from another person who saw how somebody can learn. And the reflective journal, as we are studying and learning, we are reflecting. I was the one who was confusing between the recap and reflective, but now it is clear. Now it has connected, and the final thesis or synthesis, final synthesis, we are going to now summarize, or not summarize, but integrate these multiple texts and come up with one idea of that you have understood this topic and you come out competent.
Thank you very much, he said. I know that question caught you off guard. How, if you're able to see the relationship between all these 8 units, leave alone the final sentence, because the final sentence is what you are going to write.
Yeah.
Now you'll be home and dry and you'll come up with a very good paper. But if you cannot see the relations, all these 8 units are related. And you are going to see how they are related. But I want to hear from somebody else. Final sentences, and thank you very much, Vincent, for that input. Somebody else. How are these units interrelated, and how will that add up into a final sentence? Somebody who have not talked. Now, Lucy, unmute. Every answer from an adult is correct. Lucy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have to apologize because I just logged in. I was stuck somewhere, so I just logged in now. So I'm catching up.
Okay, thank you. Did you listen to the video?
Not at all. I missed.
Now. But what is your understanding of final sentences? Or let me simplify your question. Are these topics that I have displayed here related to each other? If you look at them.
Sorry, come again.
From the list that I'm displaying now, are these topics related to each other? Because when you talk about final sentences, you'll read, summarize, restate, but you need to come up with a new idea that connect all of them. So what is your understanding of final sentences in relation to the 8 units? Just give it an attempt.
What I think about final synthesis is like the final report on what you have gone through, the whole program. It's coming up with it's like a project or a specific
Now, Lucy, allow me to go back to the video for the sake of those who have. I don't want anybody to be left behind. Now, you'll come after the. Allow me to go back.
I will answer you after the video.
Synthesizing is often loosely defined as thinking beyond a text or having an aha. And although these are accurate explanations, many teachers question, so how does a synthesis differ from a summary or an inference? There are several ways that readers infer or think about a text. They can think about the main ideas. They can think in pictures like visualization. They can think about connections or questions or syntheses. All of these are types of inferences. Think of an inference as an umbrella, and each of the comprehension strategies is a spoke under the umbrella. Synthesis is one of the spokes. It's one of the types of inference. Now, before readers could ever synthesize, they have to be able to summarize. This isn't an either or. You aren't either summarizing or you're synthesizing. No, summarization leads to synthesis. According to the College and Career Ready standards, a synthesis is when you integrate multiple details from multiple texts to generate a new, bigger thought. Now, let me say that again, more slowly, and really point out the different components components to that definition, because along the way, we're going to define what a summary is and what an inference is. Just putting together multiple details from a text isn't a synthesis. It's more likely a summary. When a reader collects details from a text and then restates those details, he is restating or retelling. If the reader repeats the ideas of the author, he's not thinking beyond the text, he's simply summarizing the text. So if a summary is just retelling details from the original text, then an inference adds the new and bigger thought. That new or bigger thought, that inference, is the idea of going beyond the text, saying something that the author in the original text never said. But this is where some teachers get confused between inference in general and a true synthesis. Think of it this way. All syntheses are an inference, but all inferences are not a synthesis. After reading a text and collecting many details, a reader can put those details together, think about them, and generate a brand new thought. An aha, that is an inference. But in that example, that inference or aha was not a synthesis. No, you have to look closely at how the standards define a synthesis. Like an inference, a synthesis will integrate multiple details to generate a new or bigger thought. But the difference happens in where these details come from. A true synthesis pulls the details from multiple texts. This is what makes synthesizing so much more difficult. Now, students have to read multiple texts. They have to juggle the details and information from all those texts, combine, integrate them to generate a new, bigger thought, something that none of the authors previously said.
Now, Madam, you can go ahead. Lucy,
Yes,
you have heard.
yes, I
And
have.
when we talk about multiple texts, we are talking of the 8 units.
Yes.
Now, in summary, what is the final synthesis?
So what I got from the video and what what I have learned now from the video is a synthesis is an integrated multiple. It's a multiple text integrated from a thought. No, sorry. It is a new thought generated.
Or an idea.
An idea. It's a new thought or an idea, which is generated from multiple texts, from a bigger thinking. Or
So
it's summarized from saying, so maybe I would put it in a layman's language like this. For example, the way I understand it, when, for example, you are taught about something, and then from that idea or that summary, you summarize that what you have been taught to come up with a new idea. Yeah.
Yeah, you are correct. And that I deliberately played that video because I don't want people to go home with an idea that final synthesis is a summary. What we are saying, you will summarize all the 8 units because you'd like to see what is induction, concept, theory in summary. Then from that, you need to come up with a big idea that was never said by facilitator. You will tell me what I never said about reflective journal and the final synthesis itself. From all what you learned from the 8 unit and from the summary, what new did you learn? And that is why I say, what new you learn, you need to confirm with the others. You read literature and find out what others have said about it. And that is why sometimes you will be writing references. So in simple term, and all those people who have starting with Nyedo, Raja, Bruce, and the other person was who? The other person who talked about Fisen. We are moving toward one point that these 8 units are related. Induction gave you an overview of what trainers of trainers entails. Reflective journal means as a trainers or facilitator, you need to acquire skill of reflecting, as we have seen. Then if you look at concept of training to evaluating of training, we are talking of concept of training, theories of learning, designing a program because you are a trainer. You need to know about facilitation technique. When you are talking of designing a training, how do you design a budget and cost it? And then how will you evaluate the training? When you are doing all these things, you will be reflecting. Whatever you'll be doing in the course of the 7 units, you will be reflecting. Even when you are doing concept, you are reflecting. Theories, you are reflecting. But we need to see the relationship between the 8 units, and that is the big idea, which was never mentioned by the facilitator. So when we talk about the final synthesis, in simple terms, we are saying it has a structure. I wanted us first to understand what it is. And then when to go to a structure, although you'll get this note in our LMS, we need the title of the training or the seminar, the name, the date of your course, and so on. Then you introduce your paper, overview of the training and its purpose, summary of the main topics. Remember, summary must be there so that you need to know what you learn. What was the relevance of the training to personal or professional development? That there's something that may not have been said, but from what you have been taught, what is the relevance? Then how does the body look like? Have a brief description of each unit, highlight key concept theories or skill. Then how are the 8 units connected? Explain how the unit or topic are interrelated. That is why I asked Fiset, how are the 8 topics related? Highlight recurring themes. What are the recurring themes in the 8 units? We need to see that. Or foundational knowledge, building to the previous knowledge. For example, we are talking of concept of training. When we are talking of theories of training, how will you relate theory and concept of training? How will you relate theory of learning with the facilitation technique and so on and so forth? Then personal insight. Now you need to reflect on your learning experiences and challenges faced and success, and share significant movement of growth. And then application. Describe how you apply the knowledge and skill in your field and provide specific examples based on what we have been discussing. And then in conclusion, it is you all always know that you need now to conclude your paper, recap the overall impact of the training on your knowledge and skill, highlighting the most significant takeaway. So in your conclusion, you will see the main takeaway of the whole of the course, and then discuss the commitment to applying. In the conclusion, you are kind of summarizing, recapping now what you have talked about, and then you can optionally suggest improvement or future training topic from what we have taken through the unit, the session. What do you think what other training would you require? Because this will not be there. We have just triggered. You're going to learn more to learn about. So that is the body of your final synthesis. That is what we expect you to write as a final synthesis. But it is very simple. You summarize, give us the connection between the units, give your personal insight, indicate the application of the skill that you have, knowledge and skill you have acquired, and then give us summary, as simple as that. And we don't expect you to write a book. We don't expect a lot of literature. So, and if we had time, I could have asked you to write a brief synthesis of what you learned in Unit 1 and what you have learned today. But I was thinking about it, and I came up with just a generic. This is just a generic when I was thinking of an example. These are the 2 units. A study on trainers trainers or facilitators emphasize how important qualified trainers are to improving learning outcome and facilitation technique. That is something you learn from day one. Effective training rely on having a clear vision, establishing attainable goals, and offering facilitator constant assistance. To create a culture of excellence, it is essential to promote professional development, teamwork, and participation, critical thinking, and self-evaluation. Now that is the reflection. You don't have to talk about reflective journal directly. Critical thinking and self-evaluation emphasize in reflective learning. Trainers can pinpoint their strength, deal with obstacles, and improve their efficacy over time by thinking back on their choices and action. This continuous self-evaluation process guarantees that training methods are effective and flexible. Together, these few points demonstrate that training facilitators entail proactive support, strategic direction, and ongoing review. By embracing this component, trainer can establish adaptable growth-oriented learning environment and put emphasis on better participant outcome as well as facilitator success. So that is a sample of a synthesis of 2 units, the induction and the reflective. If we had covered the 8 unit, we could have seen a larger document summarizing, showing the interconnection between the 8 units, putting your personal insight in it, and how you are going to apply it. So those are some of the things that I'm emphasizing want to see in your final sentences, because we will put a lot of it on it. So as we go through this unit, because I have come to an end, we expect you to be consistent with your reflection, and you do them timely, so that you do not reflect week 1 during week 2. That will bring confusion. If it is week 1, what you are taught on deduction, reflect during that time. So assessment, I expect you to reflect. I look at your assessment, reflection on assessment on Monday, because on next week you'll be thinking of a new unit. And so be consistent with your work. When it comes to final synthesis, the quality of reflective journal you are going to write will go toward your final synthesis. Those who have made the connection between the two. If you're able to summarize what you are learning each and every week, then you'll not have a hard time learning the final synthesis. And remember, as you reflect, you are putting your personal insight. So it will be easier for you. Then, if you write quality reflection, you'll have an easier time to write a quality final synthesis. So that is how the assessment will be done. And I believe now we are ready to do our weekly or daily reflection. And from now, we should start putting down the main point on that will help us to deal with final synthesis. I don't know whether there is anybody with a question, because I want to hand over to Aquila. Anybody with a question or a comment on the 2 assessments, reflective journal and final synthesis? Caroline, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. I wanted to find out if there's a specific style of referencing.
We can use the APA, which is the reason. Is it the 6th edition? If you are using is it the 6th edition? You can use the APA format or the standard for referencing.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Karibu. And anybody else with a comment or a question? Because on Monday, I'll be checking on your references, your reflection. Final synthesis, start doing quality reflection now, and you'll have an easier time at the end of the training, whereby you'll be able to consolidate idea into a final synthesis. Anybody, if there's no question, I'd like to welcome Aquila to take So Mr. Akwira, karibu. No, Ngedo, before Mr. Akwira comes in, Ngedo, you have a question? Go on.
Thank you. My question is just a clarification. Where are we putting down our reflections?
That is what I want Mr. Akwira to come and take you through. Mr. Akwira, if you are with us.
Yes, I'm with you, Mr. Elijah.
Okay, participants want to know where they will be putting their reflection, and I want you to take this chance to take them through.
Yeah.
Stephen.
There's a question from Stephen.
Stephen, you can unmute. Stephen, unmute.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My comment is that to me this is my first lesson to attend. I missed the first one. How will you assist me to get the first lesson on induction? Thank you.
Now, all what was learned during induction, you will get the content. You'll get the content in our LMS, and if the recording was done, you can still listen to the recording. So you have not lost anything. You'll get the content, and I believe Akwira will tell us whether the recording was done. You can listen to the recording again.
Thank you.
Karibu. So if there is no other question, let me hand over to Mr. Akwira. Lucy.
Thank you, Mr. Elijah. Madam Lucy, you have a question?
I think it's the same. I will just have to listen from the recording because today I have missed. I joined late.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Karibu. So Mr. Akwira, go on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I also noticed Stephen did not attend the last session, and Ndombi. The two did not attend. So I'll take you through the induction on how to navigate the virtual campus, where you'll have the notes, some quizzes, and the way you reflect. So I'll share my screen. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. We're able to see it.
Okay, our site for the e-learning is elearning.kemi.ac.ke. So that's our e-learning. It's elearning.kemi.ac.ke. You'll find the front page, which has a slider and a button to click login to get started. Click login. So as usual, you'll use the admission number that you've been using to pay the fee. So TOT is the, previously it was the shortcut for the course. 2024 is the year. 22 is the county. Let's say I registered in Mombasa, I'll write 01. I registered in another county between 1 to 9. There's a prefix 0. From county 10 to 47, there's no prefix. For example, 14, if I'm in Embu, I'll write 14. In Kiambu, I'll write 22. Murang'a, I'll write 21. Nairobi, I'll write 47. and Kajiado write 34. So any other county below 10, let's say county 1 to 9, you must use a prefix 0. So I'll do a demo one. For me, I'll use a demo TSA. Maybe you registered with the ID or PF number. The same is for the password, should be capital. Both should be capital. If you want to confirm, you click on show password, you click on login. Please be keen on this. For first-time users, you'll see the general, the first name, the last name, the email address. Just scroll down, you'll see the mandatory fields, the work details, the PF number, the ID number, or the TSC number. I'll write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the name of the institution, let's say mine is that one, and the county I registered in Kiambu. So you click update profile. This is for the first-time users. For continuing, those who will log in again continuously will be redirected to the dashboard. So for the first-time users, you must go through that process and then you click dashboard. Here on the dashboard, you'll see messages, your profile, settings, grades. You'll see some sort of the things, but because this one is a demo account, let me enroll it. Most of you must have access. Let me enroll it right now. So as soon as you log in, you'll see the course, training of facilitators on the dashboard. You'll see induction as the first topic, assessment framework. That is what Mr. Karimi has taken you through. So for example, the induction, if I click induction, that's the first topic. Remember, whatever you do, you must start from the induction. The system won't allow you to go to the next topic. So for example, there's a page here. Okay, there's an introduction, go through it, you read through. There's a page and there's a topics. The course objectives, topics, course overview, tips for studying, and then there's a small quiz and the reflection. So you can see here down, not available unless the previous activity with completion is marked complete. So for me, I must view, as a student, I must view the course of objective. I go through them. After I go through them, I go to the topic, it will open automatically. You go through them. The course overview. This one is an accordion. Click on it for more information, like for target group and entry requirement. You read through. When you're done, click on tuition methodology. You read through. When you're done, assessment, you read through. Award of a certificate, you read through. You go to the tips for studying. You'll get a small presentation here. A small presentation, you read through, you go to the next one, the quiz. So you see start quiz. There'll be a quiz, a small quiz to check what you have learned previous on those slides that you have gone through. Like which one of the following is not recommended tip for studying at a distance? I think this one was taught on the first session. Who can answer this as an example? Which of the following is not recommended tip for studying at a distance? Ngendo. Or Caroline?
Avoid asking for help if you need it.
Yeah. When you tick it, you finish attempt, and then you submit. Once you submit, you cannot change, and submit and finish. You can see you'll get the grade instantly. Yeah, that's an example of a quiz. After you're done, you go to the reflection. You reflect on the induction, what happened, how did I feel, what did I learn, and how will I apply what I learned. So when you read those through, you start our edit, and then reflection, you click here, and then you answer as per this 4. And the marks for the reflections are 4 marks for each. On each topic, there'll be several reflections, so they'll be marked. This one will be marked by the trainers or facilitators, and the total marks are 4. So you must answer them, no skipping. Yeah. Maybe I can go to the assessment part. Assessment framework that you have been taken through. On the page, there's the video that Mr. Elijah has taken you through. You can play, listen to it again, systematically, no skipping. The system won't allow you to skip anything. And upon completion, it will tell you if you have completed this induction, because the moment you complete induction, assessment framework will be open. Are we clear on that one? Yeah, I think I'm done, Mr. Elijah. I need some questions from the people.
So, thank
Yeah.
you very much, Mr. Akira, for that simple explanation. Just to the participant, what Mr. Akira have explained is very simple. When you go to LMS, just click if you just click the button without fearing, because there is nothing you can do to the system. But there is a question here that have interested me. That what happens if your final synthesis is not good? Will you don't receive the certificate? Now, we do not begin the course from negative perspective. Your final synthesis will be good because it will take you, we have taken through how to write it. So why is it started or part? Why do you think your final synthesis will not be good? It will be good. Everybody will get a certificate. Just for what I have. If the only time it will not be good if you will not read and you will not attend the corona session. But already from the responses that I've had, you will come up with a very good final sentence. I heard from Ngedo, from Lucy, from Fisen, from Laja. You will come up with a very good final sentences. So all of you will get a certificate. That is my assurance. I hope I have given you hope, but don't begin. You always begin from met expectation in a CBC. We do not begin from approaching. We meet from met. Whether you like, if you want to remain met, well and good, but I expect you to exceed. Nobody should go below meeting expectations. So all of you will get certificate. So is there any other question?
So let me add something here. Right now, there are 11 participants who have paid the required fee, the 5,000, as we agreed on Monday. And those ones are the ones that have been enrolled. As soon as you enroll, please tell me, and then you'll be enrolled. Like I'm happy, like Charlotte did it. She's in the system already. I think Maeve and Stephen, I'll talk to you aside. Yeah, I think I'm done, Mr. Elijah.
Okay, thank you very much. There is a question whether, I don't know, there's a question whether a person can join. I'm looking for Madam Rebecca to answer that question. Whether the question is, there's somebody who is interested, are they allowed to join?
Okay. Yes, Mr. Elijah, thank you for that wonderful presentation. And for the participants, it is okay to join because I believe the notes on reflection and final synthesis will be uploaded in our virtual campus. So let them contact me immediately so that they join and so that they don't miss the next session.
So Madam Rebecca, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Elijah. So do we have any other question? And thank you for those who have joined today. I can see we are full house today. So the next class will be next week on Monday at the same time. Yes.
Madam Rebecca Ngedo's had this up. I don't know whether
Yes,
she has a
Ngedo.
question.
Ngedo, you can speak up. We hear what you have to say. Do you have any comment, Ngendo? Your hand is up. Or you raised it a long time ago and
I
forgot
think so.
it. Okay. So is there anybody who has a comment? Let's have somebody appreciate Mr. Elijah and Aquila before we close. Somebody to
Mr. Vincent has a question.
Vincent, go ahead.
Mute.
Okay, thank you. I have asked a question that my friend is interested to join the course. When I explained it to them, so there was an interest from one of them that made me to join late, like 5 minutes. So is it late to join the course as the new student, or the intake is closed?
They can join. They can join. You have agreed that they can join. These notes about the final synthesis and the reflection will be uploaded in our virtual campus. So when they join, although it is late, they will be able to read on their own.
Okay,
And
so I can share the link to them.
They will pay first. They will register just as you registered, and then they will be added to the group by Aquila. You can give them the number of Aquila.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Olege. You can even tell your other colleagues to join so that we become a bigger quorum by next week.
That is one of my colleagues.
The other participants, you can bring each one of you a participant next time on Monday before we stop registration. So thank you. Anybody who wants to appreciate the presenters, just raise your hand. I believe you have been taught. You have been taught well, or do I select one of you? Anybody to volunteer? Breda, unmute yourself, Breda, and say something about the presentation. Appreciate the presenters so that we give somebody a chance to pray for us and go attend to other issues. Are you able to unmute Breda? Or maybe she left her gadget on.
Let me come in.
Okay, Elizabeth, please.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
First of all, I'm sorry I came in late, but I'm grateful I've learned a lot. Thank you, Mr. Elijah, for how you've done it, especially the question part. It made us think wide. And I hope at the end of the training, each training will be able to reflect. And after we are done with the 2 months, all the trainings, the units, will be able to have synthesis, a good one. And thank you to Aquila too for the guidance on how to do several things online, and all the hosts. And to my colleagues, let's work together. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and have a good evening too. Stephen, pray for us so that we dismiss. Stephen, unmute yourself, Stephen Atieno. Stephen.
Tuamini na tuombe. Asante
Excuse me,
Mungu.
before you pray,
Yes.
are we signing the attendance sheet today?
Yes. Aquila, please post the attendance sheet. Yes, continue. Stephen.
Yes.
Go ahead and pray.
I was waiting for the attendance sheet and maybe be guided on how to fill it for those of us who are attending our first lesson.
Okay. You just click and it is just straightforward. You will just tick you fill your name, I think. Aquila, are you still on board? You explain what is in that.
Yeah. It's just a Google link that you're supposed to fill.
It is a form.
It's a form.
Okay.
You will fill your details.
It's mandatory to attend the lessons. Yeah, don't miss.
Okay.
And you always enjoy you have filled that form. Okay, thank you. Stephen.
Now I can proceed.
The form has been
Tuombe.
sent.
Tuamini na tuombe. Asante Mungu Baba, kwa jina la Baba, Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu, kwa kutuwezesha kuhudhuria kipindi hiki kizuri ambacho kimeweza kuandaliwa na shirika la KEMI. Tunakushukuru Mungu kwa kuwa umekuwa na sisi tulipoanza jioni hii na tumetamatisha vizuri. Tunasema uhimidiwe milele. Mafunzo na hekima ambayo tunapata kutokana na kipindi hiki, Mfalme, tunakuomba ya kwamba ikaweze kubadilisha maisha yetu na hata taaluma ambayo tunajishughulisha nayo katika maisha yetu. Mfalme, ukaweze kuwabariki wale washirikishi wote na hata wasimamizi wa shirika hili Mfalme, kwa kila hatua ambayo wanatuelekeza Mfalme. Maarifa haya Mfalme yakaweze kutuwezesha kubadilisha jamii na hata wale ambao yafaa takusane nao. Ninayaomba haya machache katika jina la Baba, Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu. Kila mtu aseme amen.
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 Amen. Have a good evening and remember to fill the attendance register. And we
Asante.
meet on Monday.
Thank you.
The class will remain on for some minutes so that you all register.